Yo! Hey there, everybody. So, I am, feeling it. Not, feeling it and not feeling it. And probably one of the worst migraines in probably weeks, if not, well, probably a couple months, actually. Ever since I've started taking medication for them, I get them very rarely. So for there to be a migraine where it just puts me down for 24 hours is pretty rare. But welcome to Sleeveless Comics. My name is Micah Curtis, the head of the program, your favorite vanilla gorilla, or some call me the sleeveless one, as if that wasn't self-evident. A man who desperately needs to hurry up and get all the tattoos he wants. So my arms are a little bit more colorful because all I got right now is this number here. So. Goodness. I wanted to get one for my birthday, but the tattoo industry in my town has sort of since COVID, so that's kind of a bummer. They were, man alive. So who's all here? Not the last one. Angry Green Boss Daniel Parker's here. Hardboiled Entertainment. Hank Hill is here as well. Good morning. Is it the morning? I think it's the afternoon. Maybe it's the morning where he's at. Maybe he's in Cali. Because technically it's still morning on the West Coast, I think. I don't know. But, man alive. Headaches suck. Had kind of a weird week after the last live stream we did. People got mad. But, not surprised. I mean, I had a feeling what I was going to say might step on some toes. So, my arms starting to get a little soft. They are. I've put on weight since the lockdowns. I think that's obvious. I've been trying to do this thing where whenever I'm working during a normal 8-hour sitting down shift, that I'll go over and do some weightlifting or something, but I need to be doing it longer than what I'm doing currently. So, but anyway, where to begin? So let me say this. Oh, people are saying for what? Basically, the things that I said about Nasser and his business. Ethan Van Sciver got very angry with me, apparently. Said some things on Twitter that were outright lies. That I will correct as kindly as I can. And a lot of people who didn't like me in the first place got very angry as well because Ethan got angry. And that's just the way that it goes. The other thing is I also did a video for Liam on his channel about why he wanted to leave CG. And why he was disgusted with a lot of the things that have gone on. And I'm going to say this about everything that I said. None of it was false. And I'm not backing down from a word of it. And that's the end. So, when it comes right down to it, I am not of the mindset where I'm going to back down from something that I said that I believe to be right, especially morally, just because somebody more popular than me gets angry. I don't care. But here's my thoughts on the aftermath of it. When it comes to people saying that I agreed with Liam striking people's channels, that's actually false. When I first found out about it, I didn't even know what had happened. After talking to him, I very much disagreed and told him to take them down. And then I said it publicly on Twitter more than once. that I thought it was a bad idea, because it was. Because at the end of the day, why give the attention to people who aren't as successful as you are? And I think that in a sense was kind of my mistake as well. Because you look at, how my projects have gone, you look at how Nasser's doing. Nasser's on the downtrend, and he's got a lot of stuff he needs to do to get back in people's good graces. It's not an admirable position. And the other people who tend to bother Liam, their only claim to anything is his reactions to them. Which is something I've told him over and over and over again. But at the end of the day, I don't control anyone. So, it is what it is. But as it stands, whatever people decide to do with what I said is whatever they decide to do. It doesn't really bother me one way or the other. My thing that I would just say is this. If you're going to start projects, make sure you're taking care of the people who are working with you before anything else. If you don't, and you get a reputation of being a project lead that has a tendency to fuck with people or fuck people over, people aren't going to want to work with you. And then you're going to be, going through the dregs of Fiverr looking for somebody with a low page rate. It's not an admirable position to be in. You want to have good artists. You want to, as a writer, you want to have the people that, are going to bring out the potential of the story you're writing. And if you can't get good artists because of your reputation, well, where are you left? Nowhere good, I'll tell you that much. So. It is what it is. Now, one thing that I will say that made me happy, more so than anything, was that when the people who, didn't like me in the first place were getting mad, and when Ethan was throwing his fit, my friends DM'd me and showed support. And then on top of that, one of those irrelevant people went on to Piper's stream and was basically demanding, or something along those lines, this is secondhand information, by the way, that that I should no longer work with Graded, and they should try to distance themselves from me. And then Optimus said to me, I don't give a fuck who tells me not to work with you. I'm going to work with you, and that Englewood Peregrine crossover is still happening. So, for those of you out there who are looking forward to that book, it's still happening. Script is written, edited already by Piper. Hatman just has to go over the grammatical stuff. And then that's happening next year. You can't stop it. So. But that's the end of it. When I looked at the actual responses that came to me, lost a couple subscribers, but 0 people asked for refunds on 3 nights. And I only lost a few Twitter followers. It is what it is. So, for those out there who do want me to fail, not going to happen. And what Ethan decides to do in the future is up to Ethan, because I've heard that he's going to be something like breaking away from Comicsgate, or he's no longer going to use the tag, or he's just not going to be associated with it, or whatever. I wish him the best in whatever he decides to do in the future. So, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, people have the right to say what they want. And people can criticize me, and they're more than welcome to do so. So, it is what it is. So, the Because I still believe that CG is a belief system. It's not any one person that's in it. Are there some people more popular than others? Absolutely. But it was always people brought together by beliefs, core beliefs that we all, agreed with. So, and as long as those beliefs stand, there's still a Comicsgate, in the sense that there's still a Gamergate-ish, in the sense, where if you believe in ethical video game journalism, then, you agree with the same principle. So, Streamlabs is not working again. Hold on a minute. Okay. Oddly enough, the profile I just switched to made me look a lot better. I don't know why the camera settings were different. That's very strange. Give me 1 sec, and I will replay that. I'm not used to people sending Streamlabs whenever I'm streaming on this channel. Okay. There we go. Darth Bobcat throws in a buck and says, I hate seeing these types of fights between people I admire. You're definitely on the right side here. Well, thank you for that. But again, Ethan is welcome to react how he wants to react, and he can weigh whatever criticism he wants to at me, and then I'll listen to it if there's any truth to it. But if there's not any truth to it, I'm just going to dismiss it for being childish silliness, which is what a lot of it was. He was just reacting strongly. So, had a bit of a gamer moment, though without the N-word. Everybody gets mad and says things that are wrong. I'll forgive him. So, there is bigger things that are out there. Things that I'm more interested in. And the big thing is making sure that fans are getting good books. And getting them from me. And getting them from my friends. So, speaking of Englewood and Peregrine and all of that fun stuff, let's discuss a few things, shall we? Hey, Earthmind, if you have an objection with something that I'm saying, or you think that I'm incorrect on something, you're more than welcome to actually type out what that is. Random snide comments just make you seem like an asshole. Just so you know. Because if you continue to do that, I have no doubt my chat's just going to start calling you a pussy. So, anybody can make a snide comment. So, let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff, shall we? Hardboiled, he's not going to do what I asked him. Go ahead and cut him. He's being a puss. So anyway, on to the things that are important. Actually, wait 1 second. Somebody just emailed me. I need to check this. I'm lucky Preston's a good guy. I am. He's a fantastic artist, and I'm very happy to work with him. And by the way, he's one of the first people who said he wasn't going to abandon me just because Ethan's pissed. So, bye-bye. Done with you. Who was that guy? A nobody. And we already know the story of nobody. All right. So let's talk about I'm getting some information from Hatman. That was what I was checking. He said that he has just sent out some tracking numbers on Englewood posters. So we've already begun fulfillment there, as promised. We also, like I said, we have the 3 Nights posters in. Let's see here. Still hasn't gotten back to me on that. I'm trying to find out which ones got sent out. But regardless, actually, let's address that. I'm kind of curious as to why people would think that an artist would abandon you over some people getting mad at you on Twitter. Artists care about where the money goes. At the end of the day, I'm a guy that whenever I put a book out there, it gets funded. Meaning they're getting paid rather easily. Not to mention, nobody's stupid enough to try to DM somebody's artist and tell them to drop the book just because of somebody getting pissed off about something on Twitter. Because that's actionable. That's tortious interference. Because and this is something that also needs to be mentioned. I mentioned it last week, but I'll talk about it again. Everybody who works under me is contracted. As in, the contract is written out and signed by them. That book gets completed. If they were to drop out because of what somebody else says, I can take them to court. I could take the artist to court for breach of contract. I could take the other person to court for tortious interference. And I don't know anybody that's that stupid, honestly. I've heard of people doing it before the contracts get started. But I don't think I've seen it. Unless I'm forgetting something. But that's the problem. Is that a lot of people really don't understand how the business works because nobody really talks about it. Okay, so here's a word from Hatman. The cover posters, the ones that are the cover of the original Englewood wraparound. First wraparound cover in CG. Those are starting to go out. And then the Angelica posters, those will be, you'll be getting tracking numbers for those today. So for anybody who ordered those are about to go out. I actually need to ask Hatman, what do we need for the reprint of the books? Because I need to do a write-up for the back cover. Because basically what we're going to do... Let me actually pull up the cover for you guys, just so you guys will know what I'm doing. And Bogdan Digital Art, who's going to be working with me on the first servant, says here, Ethan's one of the reasons I got back into drawing, but I'll never start working with you because of Twitter. There you go. Twitter is not a good gauge of what people are like behind the scenes. On top of everything else. It just isn't. I've talked to people that are absolute sweethearts that on Twitter they come across kind of like jerks, and I am one of those people, I'll freely admit. But anyway, let me David McDowell in the chat makes a good point. Can't be the only one that doesn't care about the drama within CG. I don't know if people realize it's just going to put people off. And that's very true. You know, the only reason that I even brought up the Nasser thing was just because I felt like discussing ethics. And his mistake was like the prime one of how you don't start a book, you know. Hopefully he learns in the future not to do that. Because, and the only reason that I knew about it is because he said it publicly on Oz's show, which was not smart. But then again, on Oz's show, I've noticed that people just tend to go on there and just bleh, just word vomit. But I'm guilty of it too. All right, let's go ahead and get to the other stuff. So, when it comes to the Englewood Second Chance campaign, for those of you who backed that, what we are going to be doing on that one Sorry, I had to take care of some stuff real quick. Okay. So, when it comes to Englewood, what we're going to be doing with this cover, since this is not a wraparound, so I'm just cropping this real quick. Since this is not a wraparound cover, what is going to happen, because these are perfect bound books, it'll be this cover, and then the spine, and then the back cover will be some art from the book, and then a synopsis at the bottom of it, alongside like the Sleeveless Comics logo and all the other fun stuff. So, and then I think that we've got the ISBN now for this too. If not, I'm going to go ahead and pay for that. So that way, if we want to do retail, which I think we want to in like maybe a year or two down the road, it'll be easy to do so. Serena just threw in a buck. Let's see what she says. When you get the chance, I'd love you to teach me how to write a contract. Want to get one for safety reasons in case my artist pulls something when I select a candidate. That is a wise idea. I can definitely give you a hand with that. I used to, I worked in insurance, and I was also, a manager. I had to learn how to do it. So I just showed my Streamlabs on screen. Oops. Oh well, I can edit that out later. But anyway, so this will be, this cover, of course, is fucking awesome. Even all the little details. I love how Armand, the painted look that he does here is similar to what the first book is in regards to color style. But the difference is that it's a lot sharper. It's a lot more detailed. This cover is going to look gorgeous in print. But yeah, this is what it looks like with the trade dress. It is a, of course, in my opinion, a must-own. We plan on maybe overprinting on these, but not by a lot. Some people have actually asked me to open up an eBay store of the books that have not been shipped out yet, or has not been sold yet. We don't have a ton of overprint. Some of these are going to be sent to me by Hatman, just so I can give to give them to my family who have been wanting to read it. So, and one thing I should mention is you'll notice here on the right side there is like some color bleed. That's clipped off in the printing. This is what's called the bleed area, so it'll be clipped out. Yeah, go ahead, waistcoats. But yeah. So those will be, hopefully we'll have all of this fulfilled. What I want to do whenever hey Earth, I let you back in, dude. If you keep being a snide little shit, I will let Hardboiled give you the boot permanently. But what I will do, whenever we get around to, once everything's fulfilled, is I would like to do a read-along. That's not the right thing. But basically what I would do is... Is the camera not plugged in? I don't think it is. I have a second webcam that I use. It's right here. And okay, so here's what Waistcoat says. Looking at the cover from a distance, Saint blends in a little bit too much at his top. Focus drifts from him to the guys with the lighter shirts because he's too close to the background color. Well, let's have another look at that, because I think she's got a point. Okay, so we have about 20 of each version, standard and director's cut. And remember, Hatman, to send me some of those copies so I can give them out to my to the fam. Let's have a look. So if we were to see it in print, it would be about here. I can kind of see what you mean. I'll talk to Armand about it, because I noticed that there's black line right here that kind of outlines him. I wonder if we could thicken that up a little bit, and then that would make enough difference so you can kind of make it out a little bit better. But I kind of see where you're going. I think in print it will look a lot better, though. What I wish I had the money for, and what I want to start doing in the future, is I would love to do spot UV on water whenever we have water on a cover. But give me 10. Give me 10 of them, of either the reprints or the originals. I'd rather the reprints, just because I kind of want to just sell the anything that was original. I'd rather sell it on eBay. Though, save me 2 of the original prints of the director's cuts. Those go to Mom and Dad. And I'm going to sign them. So. And I also see what you mean, like, right here. So. But, I'll talk to Armand about it and see what we can do. I think it's fair criticism. All right. Speaking of comic books, so that's the updates on that stuff. What I have here is a new page. 3 Nights, 4 Days continues to move along. We're behind where I originally wanted to be, but one thing that didn't help was that Oliver was trying to balance 2 projects at once. He's not just working for me. He's also working for, or was working for, excuse me. Working for Mark Polton, who is the writer. He works with John Malin on Graveyard Shift. And he also has his own book called U.S. Assassin that I think did pretty well on Indiegogo, if I remember right. And he was doing... Oliver was doing the colors on that. And, like everything Oliver colors, it looks fantastic. Oliver is one of these guys that has basically said they want to work with me for the next 10 years. So, sent to Streamlab. Give me one sec. Thanks for the video on ethics advice when starting projects like this. I made some mistakes when contracting my artists about my project. No intention to scam them. It's just I was clueless and made false assumptions that I've seen on campaigns. It's fair enough. I could probably teach a master class at this point on how to properly do business. So, what kind of pages? Satin or something else? Need to know what to tell Mixon. I usually use gloss, and on pages on posters I use gloss with a satin finish. So that's what Englewood was. God, I needed that. This headache is still lingering, so that's probably why I've been a little cranky. So apologies for that. But anyway. This particular page. Where are we at with the pages? We are past page 30, I believe. No, we're at page 30. So, and that's 30 of 44. And this is at page 29. And I actually had to pick this specifically because it's not spoilery and it's a character. So, as with all things in the Middle Ages, there was a lord over the land. And this particular lord is, why am I forgetting his name? Lord Flanders. So Lord Flanders is the feudal lord of the area. Lives in a castle about 10 miles away from this village that this story takes place in. And during the time of these attacks, he's gotten word, but of not just this one village has been attacked, but several others. And he launches an investigation into it. And what he finds is horrifying, to say the least. So, when I said that this book gets gory, I meant it. Again, I love how all of our horses have mohawks. It's so fucking metal. Oh, God. And yes, it is a Ned Flanders reference. But he's actually, as a character, based on Mel Gibson. And that was who, like, my actor illusion was for him. It's like if there was ever a Three Knights movie, he would be played by Mel Gibson. Was Preston the one to suggest the blending in the face of the cliff? Yes, that's all him. I did not think of this. And this is why I love working with him, is he always is looking how to make a page better. He's like, he'll basically say, I like how you got this structured, but I'm going to do this. And it seems like everything he does is always better than what I dreamed of in my head. So, needless to say, he's amazing at what he does. Top notch. You know, I don't say this as I don't think I'm being a braggart here. I think that what the team that is on this book is offering is better than anything that the big two are doing right now. You know? I think I'm better than a lot of writers at Marvel, but for those of you who have read Englewood, you'll have to confirm or deny in the chat. And I think that Preston is better than most, if not all, of the artists that are there. Good God, Oliver's colors are a lot better than a lot of others out there. That's for fucking sure. he's amazing at what he does. So, oh, goodness. But yeah, so I based him on Mel Gibson and kind of how I would like to see Mel Gibson play a character like this sort of old, wise lord of the castle, who is sort of in over his head. Because he doesn't really know what's going on. And he's finding animals slaughtered. He's finding villages where the animals are just out for no fucking reason. They're dismembered everything. This is one detail that I love he remembered. Is this little kid's toy. Oh, you can't see my cursor, can you? Hold on. Still not showing up. That's very weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. But, wow, nobody's backing me up on the writing. Thanks, guys. Love you, too. I know you guys like what I do. So. But, this feels like something out of Berserk. Which is what it's supposed to be. Like, for what you got, for those of you guys out there who have not committed to this yet, but you are a fan of Berserk, that's what I'm aiming for. Like, Miura is one of my biggest writing inspirations. Oh, weight of the text hard-boiled. If you want what we did on Englewood, that was 70 pound. 70 pound is good comic paper, but it's not cover stock. Like, and I personally don't like the individual pages to be cover stock. I actually, Ethan, when I got his Unforgettable Tales, which I haven't even read yet, he when I got it, like, the pages were cover stock and I hated it because they just don't feel right in my fingers. You know, it's too thick. You know, 100 pound is good for a cover. 70, 80 is good for the interior pages. So, but anyway. So yeah, this is one of the pages that Preston finished. But he just threw at me, as of last week, because I know he's working on more, sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So that's kind of what he does, is throws in batches of 6. Jamil Isifu says, I'd totally read this if I had the money to buy it with. Well, good news, Jamil. If we're going to keep this in demand for probably like until we are out of print, I think. I think that we're probably going to have this book done in February at the latest, and I will probably keep the campaign open until late February. So that way, if people want to buy some overstock, then they can, and then we'll launch whatever my next project is in March. It's probably going to be 3 Nights Part 2, but I got to talk to Preston about that. I want to make sure that he's done with 6 Gun before we do that. So, goodness gracious. Not the last one says, no offense to Oliver's excellent color work, I'd love this book in black and white. Really? How many people feel that way? I'm curious if that's a big thing or not among the audience. So if you're watching this on replay, let me know in the comments if a black and white edition of this book would be something you'd like. Hardboiled, I watched part of your video. You didn't seem to understand where I was kind of coming from on it, So maybe someday I'll give you my perspective on why I do dialogue the way that I do. But regardless, I think this would make a pretty good black and white book, but I would think that we would need to add halftones and some background stuff, and so Oliver would have to do that to give it almost like a manga feel to it. So, because it would basically be inking, because these are not inked. This is all pencil. None of this is inked. So I would basically have to pay either Oliver or Preston to ink it, and then well, I should probably correct myself. I pay Preston the Preston does whatever he wants bit. And he just likes, he's penciling this the way that he is because it's colored. If he were penciling for a pure black and white book, he would probably ink this. Because Preston's got good ink style too. He's very good at it. He's not confident in his inks, but I am. So, So yeah, it would have to get some heavy ink work done on it and things like that. Because Oliver experimented with some halftones on page 1 and showed it to me. I thought it looked pretty good. So we might do that. We might do a call it maybe like the left to right manga version or something. Is this traditional art or digital? This is all traditional. All of it. I love that Preston works traditional. He was giving me shit, though, because I bought him paper that I thought was up to his specifications, and it apparently is like a little glossy, so he it's harder for him to draw on. So I need to, once I get paid by RT, I'm going to send him some money and get him some new paper. Ugh, goodness. You know, side note, this stuff, I don't like it as much as normal Pepsi. It's kind of bitter. You know? And because I'm recovering from a headache, my body wants sugar and meat. But it wants to taste things that are sweet, and that is not quite there. I think I like normal Pepsi a lot better. That's just me, though. But if you guys would like a black and white version, I'll think about it. Like I said, some stuff would have to be done, but some pages I think I think they already have an impact the way that they look now. Let me grab another one real quick. If this is the one I'm thinking of. This is not another non-spoiler page. This is page 20. You prefer grainy over glossy too? Yeah, that was what I fucked up. Receipts to drink. I opened it. I feel like I have to. Ugh. It's not doing it for me though. I might end up pitching it. Ugh. That's the thing whenever you get a headache, is like everything tastes different. So let's so this is another page. This is the After the Chaos page. And this one, I think, already has a lot of punch. Especially whenever you think about, like, the stuff that's been going on in the story so far. What is this? My eyelashes? Having long eyelashes sucks, guys. I had, like, a spare hair on them. It's... yeah. Yes, I am streaming during the day because I'm probably going to like order food and then go to bed here in a minute. Assuming I have money. I think I still have money. Let me just stop doing that. So yeah, like his stuff already has a good punch to it. Oh yeah, I have money. Oh goodness. So if you're looking at these pages and you like them, head on over to Indiegogo, link in the description, and pick up 3 Nights 4 Days Part 1. This is probably, of all the stuff I've done so far, this is my favorite story I've done. It's a tie between this and Project Lazarus. Though I love the fucking... Man, now that I think about it, I love everything I've been able to do so far. God, because Englewood Book 2, that story's got some moments that are like a kick in the nuts. So, gosh... So much good stuff. And I'm working with such great, talented people. And I couldn't do it without you guys. Seriously. You guys make all of this possible. I mean, it's like I've said, Sleeveless Comics, like, the name comes from the fans. Fans of my work, you know? So, I want to be able to deliver that. I even, made sure that my avatar on Indiegogo is the Sleeveless Comics logo. So... Ugh. And then, of course, First Servant, too, which hopefully we get to do next year as well. I'd like to get to the point where I have the faith of the customer base to have multiple Indiegogos open at once. So, I think once we've fulfilled, a few more campaigns, I think we'll be there. But either way, if you're a fan of Berserk, the 13th Warrior, Prince of Darkness, or Baldur's Gate, or Doom, this is the comic for you. Seriously. This would be a really good... Like, what my main inspirations when I wrote this were Eaters of the Dead, which is what 13th Warrior is based on. Berserk. And I was also playing... the original Dragon Age at the time, and I had just come off another playthrough of Planescape Torment. So, a lot of that went into the inspirations for this story. Nick White says in the middle of studying for finals, dropping in to drop likes and say this channel is awesome. Dave's fault and God bless, folks. Thank you, Nick. You're awesome. Good luck with the finals. I'll be praying for you. But you can get the comic for $25 plus shipping. My advice would be buy one and get one for a friend. Pick up this tribute cover, specifically. This is not reflective of how many we've actually sold. We've sold, like, 26 of these so far. A lot of people who had already backed the book bought that. They're like, fuck, dude. And then we had another 10, I think, change their cover to the Vinny cover. So, Vinny... I'm definitely... Like, Vinny and I are buddies. So, beyond our friendship, I definitely want him to do another cover for me in the future. I think what I would like to do is... Yeah, Hatman, I definitely need to move out to North Carolina, I think. I think next year is going to be the time. Next summer. Actually, wait, no, my lease is up next fall. So next fall, it'll be time. I'm going to start saving up for it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind helping out with that, David. I might just do videos, though, of, like, how I did this. So... But these posters right here, The Battle Prayer and the cover posters we're going to be shipping those out soon. You will get those emailed, by the way, to you. And our next stretch goal, should we get it beforehand, I think that we might get this one before we go to print, is 30K. We're going to give you all guys 3 buttons, each with the trademark helms of each one. So, maybe at some point, Hardboiled, if you want to have me on, let me know, and I'll check my schedule. I can't make any promises. And Moore got a second copy with the new cover. Yeah, it was quite a few. I was surprised, honestly, by how many people snatched that up. So, and at some point, I think I want to do a poster of it, maybe for the next campaign, just because it is a movie poster, basically. So, let me. I think though, if we ever do like a collected edition, I want to do it in hardcover, and I want to have Preston do a wraparound. But that would cost a lot, so it would be an expensive book. But anyway, what was I going to pull up? I completely forgot. My brain just went, bleh. Oh, on what the next thing I want Vinny to do with me. I am writing piece by piece. It's not my main project right now that I'm working on for the future. I've got 2. I'm working on a book with Liam that will be revealing probably in the next month or so. And because he's contracted me to write something for him. And then because he read Englewood and he's like, yeah, I definitely need to get you working on this idea that I've got. And then he gave me the idea, and then I gave him that much more of the idea, so now we actually co-own a new character. So, that'll be interesting. But anyway, I just need to get a couple things up here, because there's other stuff that I want to talk about. I want to check in on some other stuff. I also need to get back to Holy Ninja Toe, because I think he wanted to contract me for something too. All right. But anyway, that's 3 Nights, 4 Days. Link is in the description. Other cool stuff going on from friends. Actually, I need to get up for a second. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play the 3 Nights trailer real quick, and we will be right back.
In the year 1188, 3 crusaders returned to England after the siege of Jerusalem, expecting respite, but the devil had other plans.
The fire feels quite nice, actually. Are you certain this strategy of ours is going to work?
To be truthful, brother, that's why I had them barricade their doors and board up their windows. We are 3 men against a horde.
Micah Curtis presents a horror comic like no other. A 44-page full-colour graphic novel from the creators of Englewood, Dock Salem and Battle Brick Road. Illustrations by Preston Acevedo. Colours by Oliver Lee Arce. Lettering by Eric Weathers.
Micah Curtis's 3 Nights, 4 Days. Available now on Indiegogo. Fucking right! I love that trailer. Caleb did a great job. So did Charlie's with the narration, and Optimus and Charlie's fiance, Yan, did a great job with all of that. I love the feel of it, honestly. So yeah. My hands weren't even in the right position. What is this? But other stuff I'm working on, the Argonauts is a mecha book that I plan on doing. Xavier and I are working on it together. I just finished outlining what each of the trademark mechs will be like, alongside the ship, which is called the Argo, and so on and so forth. Now I have to come up with the pilots. So it will be it'll be a pretty cool book. It's gonna be a real robot book, as opposed to like super robot stuff. So general story is that there is a war where the solar system has been divided into along the asteroid belt, where one half of it is held by the Earth, the other half is held by a colonial group called the People's Republic of Kylum, which is this gigantic communist empire-ish thing that we're still building. And yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I've got a lot of ideas for it, so it gets me excited. And then on top of that, another one that I mentioned, the one that I'm working on with Liam as well. So that's, of course, on top of Free Nights Part 2, The First Servant. We got a lot of stuff planned for the future. So where'd you get the person to do the editing and set up the trailer? That was by Caleb, who is a part of the Graded fan base that Optimus put me in touch with. Fuck. This headache's starting to get back to me. Will there be colony drops, though? They're not really in a position to do so. And I kind of don't want to do that just because that would be ripping off Gundam. You know, I don't want to, I really don't I don't want to do that at all. So it's already going to get Gundam comparisons, but, because that's my biggest influence, I won't even lie. But the basic idea, if people have questions about it, I'm happy to answer. But I'll expand on it because that's where my brain's going. The basic idea is that past the asteroid belt, you go to the moons of Saturn and Venus and all this other stuff. A lot of those were mining colonies in this universe. And as time went on, the unions in those areas ended up getting political control over local government, and then ended up banding together and basically chased the Earth government out, because the Earth government didn't have a lot of military there, just enough there to keep the peace. So when they all allied, they basically killed a ton of people and then, did what communists do, and they ended up declaring war on the Earth and its colonies, which decided not to join them, so everything from Mars onward. So Mars is sort of like the big battle area, and the asteroid belt. Like, that's where they're constantly pushing. And what they ended up doing is their initial weaponry that was developed was mining gear. Because what they would use in some of these areas before they were terraformed were these big mining robots that are shaped like humans. And it allowed them to have these massive mining operations on these moons that they had no atmosphere, or they had nothing but like barely an atmosphere and gravity. So why not just mine the fuck out of them and just send the resources back to Earth? So they ended up turning those into weapons. And then from there, the Earth decided to basically create a weapon to match it. But the problem is that their technology was basically deadlocked. And then the Argonauts are a new sort of mobile weapon that is much more high grade, much more difficult to deal with than the normal mobile frame, which is what the combat, mechas basically are called. Chaos Center throws in a bucket and says, I always like the writing from Englewood. I just didn't want to say anything because I want to be sure my job is not a scam. So I'm able to save money for being your biggest simp. Fair enough. I'm glad people enjoyed it, though. I get a lot of compliments on the writing. So the fact that I won over Kemosabe was big. I won over Danfan, too. But the Kemosabe's a tougher critic than Danfan is. So I just thought it was funny that she compared Angelica to Amari. And it's like, nah, Amari's tits are bigger. I'm like, oh, good Lord. So, but anyway, the Argonauts and the Argo itself are basically meant to be the weapon that turns the tide. And that's exactly what they do. The first strike that they're used in, they topple a massive military base that was basically protecting one of their biggest manufacturing plants, and they just destroyed it. So, beyond repair. And each of the Argonauts has specific purposes, and they actually have here's where the concept gets cool, right? I thought of this idea is for some reason, at 3 a.m. while I was working on an article, I found myself watching the Zero Punctuation video about Other M because this is my favorite episode. And the moment where he talks about the bottle ship and the mother stuff, I said to myself, I'm like, why can't anybody just do that loosely and go from there? And then I'm like, I can't snap my fingers. But the light switch just goes on, and it's like, wait a minute, why don't you do that? Fair enough. So I'm like, mothership. Okay, mothership. What if we gave it its own intelligence? And then from there, I thought to myself, what if the ship was co-run by an AI that was there to aid the mobile suits in battle? Because they have... Where's a good Gundam for this? Oh, where are you? Where's my F-91? Here you are. So the F-91... I'm trying to pick him up without damaging him. The F-91 here is a really good example of this. So around this generation of Gundam, though it really started around like 40 years before this, the F-91, by the time this thing was built in Gundam lore, there already had been cockpits where you could see 360 degrees. Really basically everything around you, above and below. So, and the F-91 is a good example of that because that's the type of cockpit that it has. So, what I figured was part of the reason that people can use bit weaponry and stuff in Gundam is because they're new types. They're psychics. So they have the ability to do that a lot easier. But no, I'm not doing that psychic stuff in this story. I didn't want to go down that direction. So I said to myself, what would they need to use that kind of weaponry? What would they need? I'm like, an AI. An AI could help them. Basically, they would need another set of hands or another mind. So I said, well, use an AI. And then, that would justify why it's called a mothership. Basically, it has a fully sentient AI that is locked to the ship and its mobile suits. And so basically the AI can't travel outside of that. on any network. So, it basically has no data stream to leave the ship aside from the suits. And the suits don't have any data stream except back to the ship. So it creates a loop. But anyway, I said, why not create one? And that's the gimmick, is that she is able to help them with the additional targeting, because the thing about the mobile frame system, we'll use F91 as an example. So these back here are called VSBR rifles. And they sling up under like that, and he could fire them. Well, I thought to myself, what if you just had one cannon that was more upright? It's not going to work like that. But basically imagine this cannon here was flipped the other direction, was a lot smaller, and could rotate around the back and down and in other directions to basically be cover fire while you're in melee combat, like I have this Gundam set up as. That's what, and I call it the javelin system. It doesn't stand for anything. It's just basically the Argonauts use javelins, so that's why I call it that. And that's what the javelin system does, is it allows multitasking. Well, the only way you could do that is if you had another set of eyes. So that's basically what the AI does. And for this ship, she's called Athena, the goddess of war. Have my glasses here like a grandpa. So, yeah. So, now the thing about her is a lot of the pilots don't trust her. So, only one pilot actually likes to work with her. And oddly enough, he's the one who pilots the mobile frame that is the most reliant on her input, called Poseidon. But the thing about it is, like, every single one of them has of the customized ones has the ability to, or they all have different style javelin systems. So Poseidon is probably my favorite so far. There's 5 of them: Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Hermes, and Apollo. Zeus is a sniper. And Poseidon is the spotter. So Poseidon has 2 primary weapons. Speaking of Xavier, he's right there. I actually just dumped all this info on him yesterday. So, or was that today? I don't remember. I had seemed to sleep. But, the thing about Poseidon, I like him so much because I thought of a couple specific things when it came to Special Forces soldiers when I was coming up with these ideas. So one thing I really like the idea that they teach you now in the military is to use every part of your rifle as a weapon. And that basically a lot of military martial arts are based around your rifle, getting people away from you so you have enough space to shoot. I'm like, I want to do that with a mobile suit. So basically what I did is I gave, his rifle is called the Trident, but it's a standard beam rifle that most other, mobile frames would use. But the difference with it is that it has a bayonet on it that's underneath the barrel that when you switch it on, it prongs out, and it's basically, so imagine 1 and then bam, there's 3. And they're all beams. So it's like a beam trident. So he can use that and jab people with it in melee range and then hit them with the butt of the weapon. It basically becomes a staff. So, needless to say, and the other thing that he can do, though, that helps him in melee combat, his javelin system is not one beam that rotates. It's 4. And they're basically octopus arms of a sort. they can wrap around and grab people in melee combat with pincers, but they also are beam rifles, in a sense. So basically they can grab an enemy with it and blast them at point-blank range and blow them to little bits. So he also has these little bits that are just reconnaissance. They don't attack. That are affectionately called minnows by the staff and the engineers. The engineer whose name right now I'm just working with, he has the nickname of Ugly because he used to be a pilot with the captain. He's the captain's best friend. And what has happened to him is he's missing an eye, and he's got this massive scar on his face from a battle, you know, at the beginning of the war. But Ugly calls them minnows. But what they are is they're reconnaissance drones. So what they do is they feed back visual information to the cockpit of Poseidon while he is with Zeus doing long-range support, so Zeus can have sniping targets. So, and not to mention he can also feed targeting info to Ares. Ares is a lot like Heavy Arms back there, in the sense he has a bunch of missile pods on him. But the difference is that Ares has a massive 2-barrel cannon on his forearm, similar to the Double Zeta. And he also has a beam saber. And he also has a tow cable in the shield that's on his arm. So he can literally use it like Scorpion's spear from Mortal Kombat. Just like tow people in and just cut them in half. So he's very stylistic. And then so yeah. So they call him Ugly. Yeah, because he's ugly. His face is fucked up. He's ugly. So, he's meant to be a parallel to Hephaestus. Because he's the engineer. So, God, the more I talk about it, the more I get hyped about it. This is what I love talking about my stories, is because I come up with these cool ideas. I'm just like, fuck, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. Because what I would like to do, if everybody that's on board the project agrees with this, so Xavier, obviously, I wouldn't mind putting it in the Tetsuka contest next year. So, but either way, it's going to be a great book. But that's mean. It's a military, though. They're going to come up with nicknames. I mean, my dad apparently had one that like he will never say what it was, because he said it would, if I were to say it, he always would say, if I were to say it, Micah, it wouldn't be very Christian of me. I'm like, oh Jesus, was that bad, huh? So I figured they would just call my dad Shorty or something, because my dad's like tiny. My dad's 5'6", so, and I'm a monster, so. But anyway, excitement is abound. How big are the mechas? About 60 feet tall. Well, 50 to 60, somewhere around there. They're as big as a Gundam. Let's put it that way. Anywho. Speaking of comics. Peregrine Wings of the Falcon. They are $80 away from $50K, guys. $80. And I don't know how many copies of this book I have sold so far, but I want to keep selling more because I couldn't be more proud of my friends. Honestly. Could not be more proud of what they've accomplished. They have done so awesome with this book. Colors are done, by the way, and they're sending it off to be lettered. So this is gonna be awesome. Fucking awesome. I cannot wait to get my hands on this book. God, this cover. I bought two of these. I bought this cover, and then I bought this one. So yeah. I can't wait for Peregrine. I know a lot of other people can't wait for Peregrine. This needs to be a cat right here. Damn it, it's not showing my cursor. There we go. This needs to be a cat. Seriously. I don't want it to be a leaf. Book looks amazing. Honestly, I cannot wait to get my hands on it. They are almost finished. And then, of course, one thing that I wanted to link to this is already in the description as well. And, of course, you get this beautiful poster. This is a tribute to Superman Batman #1. This is the poster that inspired, but you guys demanded that we do a crossover just because of this poster. And it's already written. Already written. I just need Hatman to edit it. I know he's going to do Englewood Book 2, because this comes after Englewood Book 2. You get this poster for free if you back the book. So yeah, I cannot wait to hang this behind me. I think it's gonna take Venom's spot, because it's not as big as like Thanos or Guts back there, or else I would buy a new frame and put it down there behind the punching bag. But or I might switch Thanos there. I don't know. So, will the AI have a personality? Yes. She is based on the no, I'm not gonna give it away. Let's just say she has a personality. Speaking of colorists, there's Armand. He is waiting eagerly for Brian to get settled into Virginia so we can work on book 2. I think he's already read the script, so he can tell you whether it's good or not. But Armand, of course, did the colors on this. This is the color style we're going to be using on Englewood going forward. Obviously, Armand, you did a fantastic job with both that and the most recent cover for Englewood. So you're doing awesome, dude, and I'm very excited to work with you again. So thanks for stopping in, dude. Speaking of that, though, let's show off some Armand art. Because, just as a reminder, we will be introducing a new villain in the Englewood universe. In Englewood Peregrine that Armand and I came up with, named Papa Ubio. He's a Jamaican witch doctor. And is sort of the return of magic to this universe. Because he's legitimately a witch doctor. So, and of course, he leads the Jamaican gang in the area, and he is an Obey man, and his entire goal is basically to kill the saint, and he resurrects a massive demon to do so. So, I loved writing this character. I think he's a good villain. He's very ambitious and savage, but is able to be deceptively polite to people. Basically, if this guy, let's say you were walking down Chicago, you're downtown, you're about to go into Chick-fil-A and you're just waiting to cross the street, and here's this Jamaican guy in a nice suit. He's got his dreadlocks. He's not wearing the makeup, obviously, and he's got his cane. He's just sitting there and waiting on the same crosswalk. He would just sit there and chat you up. Because he's again, disarmingly friendly. But if you piss him off, you're a dead man. And he might flay you alive and leave you somewhere, just as an example of not to fuck with him. He is a brutal son of a bitch who runs the most brutal gang in Chicago. People don't trespass into his area because of how vicious he is. So yeah. Demons are going to be in Englewood? Yes. You actually see certain black magic spells that his people use to enhance their abilities that Elijah has to fight. So it's going to be pretty badass. And that is how he and Peregrine meet. So it's because of some of those gangsters. It will be it's going to be an epic fucking story. I cannot wait. And I can't wait to do more of this character. I haven't thought of any arcs for him yet, because the next arc I'm going to be writing for Englewood is part of a massive, what would normally be like a 12-issue run in a book called City of Assassins. That's the next arc after we wrap up with Carlos. So, yeah, Jamaican gentleman villain. He's got a lot of similarities to Baron Samedi. But I also kind of imagined him being charming in the same way that, who was the Obey woman from Pirates? I forget her name. Tia Dalma. He's very, very charming like she is. And one thing that's scary about him in a weird way that Elijah hates about him, kids love him. Everywhere, like, if he goes and is walking, because he just walks around his neighborhood like he's not afraid of anything. He will, like, push kids on the swing and chat it up with their parents and all this other stuff. Like, he's fucking frightening in a sense, but one thing that Elijah hates about him is that kids love him. Like, people who don't know who he is and don't know his reputation love him to death. And it's scary because the neighborhood could turn on Elijah like that. Because at the point that Elijah's going to go after him again, I know for a fact that, like, his neighborhood, the Jamaican neighborhood, is going to fucking hate the Saint of Englewood. So, like a Jamaican Hannibal Lecter, kind of. He's got a lot of influences like that. I would almost say more of a Jamaican version of Denzel Washington's character from American Gangster. Where, like, in certain areas, he could shoot someone in the face in the middle of the street and nothing would happen. So yeah, he's a very, very scary guy. I love writing gang leaders. I really do. Because this is the thing about him. Even the Seven Gun Council, its newest member, part of the mythology of Englewood, the newest member of why am I forgetting how many they're in? Hatman, help! I've got a headache. I can't remember if it's the 6 or 7 Gun Council. Shit! Changus throws in a buck. God, my head. I'm soldiering on for you guys. And then I'm gonna eat like a huge pizza. Changus throws in a buck and says, so the Jamaican witch doctor guy is a bad dude who runs a bunch of bad boys. Yeah, you're not. That's a good way to sum it up. There's probably a reference in there that I'm forgetting. Ah, fuck. My body is like, feed me and nap, fucker. And I'm like, give me a minute. I'm talking to my fucking chat. But anyway, the reason that the council has a new member is because of Ubio. Because somebody fucked around and found out. Basically, the mob paid to have him killed. And when they found the body of the assassin they sent after him, he was sitting in a, oh, it's a Biden reference. Sorry. I'm slow today. I'm slow when I'm grumpy. But anyway, he left the assassin decapitated in a sedan in the middle of a park in the neighborhood of the prophets. So imagine being Terry Trevors when you hear that one of your boys, like him and Frost, find out that one of their boys we found him. He's been gone for 2 weeks. Where's he at? He's at the park. He's at the park. Why is he at the park? because his head's missing. And the thing is, Ubio kept the head. And you'll see the head later. Trust me. It's not like rotten or anything. You'll see the skull. But yeah, Ubio is a scary... Like, even the mob won't mess with him. Like, he uses scare tactics. He loves doing that shit. Because it works. So, 7-Gun Council, thank you. But the reason that the 7-Gun Council has a new member is because of him. So yeah, he sent back the guy's decapitated body. He's brutal. He's scary as fuck. So the fact that that Elijah is willing to fight him and willing to go after him is something that rocks the gang community in a lot of ways, because they always figured that would be the one guy that he would never try. So whenever I get around to giving Ubio another arc, it's going to be a dark one. Be a very dark one. And it makes me glad that Andrew Huerta wants to do covers for Englewood for the future, because I think he would be the perfect guy to do the covers. Well, he's going to be the perfect guy for Englewood covers no matter what. You know, I'm glad that he loves the book as much as he does. So, Andrew's a good dude, good buddy. You know, he's had my back whenever I've needed him. So, but anyway, so definitely pick up Peregrine, and you basically are supporting the crossover, and you will finally get to see the opening of this guy, and we'll do more with him in the future. Trust me, I love this villain. Like, he's one of my faves. He and I think my favorite gang leaders are him and Frost. Though I like Terry Trevors a lot too. You haven't seen the last of Terry, by the way. Terry will be back. What you see of him in Englewood 1 is just an introduction. You're going to see him again. I love that character, dude. But anyway. You know what? I'm going to settle this. I'm going to just pull up my notes on Englewood. I actually have a document with all the lore. Give me one sec. Okay. It is the 7-Gun Council. Yep. And not Frost. Johnny Winter is his name. So, let me show you guys which one Johnny Winter is. Englewood pages, colored. Where did he first show up? He's in technically issue 0. Blah, 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 blah. I think this is the page we ended up going to print on. Here's Johnny Winter right here. It's not that great of a glance. But generally speaking, what he does is he wears a black trench coat. You can't really see it, but he has a purple... he'll wear like a purple vest under his Kevlar. And he is a sniper. So, it is a... I love some of these shots. I especially love like the detail on Trevor's back here. But anyway. So yeah, there will be more of him too. There is Terry Titan Trevor's is not done. Not by a long shot. Because the great thing about Englewood is that it is the story of the Saint of Englewood, but it's also the story of the city of Chicago. There will be points where these gang leaders will fight. So, all right. Another thing, since Liam and I are going to be working together in the near future, Xenotype Volume 1 the colors are finished on this book as well, and Liam is sending it off to the printers. This book is huge, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I've read parts of it, and I read, if you want to get an idea of there's Piper. Piper, you just missed me, like, talking up how awesome the Peregrine Englewood crossover is. So you can reaffirm how awesome it is for everybody else in the chat if you want to. I'm hanging in there because my headache from yesterday is still lingering. But this is this book is at the printers, whichever version you got. I can't wait to get my hands on the colored version. I love Scotsman's work. Scotsman and I are going to work on something together in the future too. So, and I've already revealed that. Did I reveal that publicly? I did. Called Gecko. That's another one I need to script. So, and then finally, Six Gun Gorilla, Cemetery Without Crosses. The mailing list is actually out there. And this is how awesome Brian Kriskow is. Brian, the instant I messaged him that I hadn't gotten my copy of Six Gun yet, he immediately sent me a new one. So, I think actually wait, did he send it? I need to double check. But anyway, and I love this this Iron Maiden homage cover that he did too. Looks fantastic. And the references for those of you, like, there's a Tug one here. There's an Ethan's all caps comics logo is back here. There's his lady from blah 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 from Rockabilly Road Trip. Preston himself is right here. So this will be some good shit. Brian's a great dude, so he's been a supporter of mine for a long time. Anywho, it's really about all I got for today. I think the last thing I wanted to just show is one thing, because we didn't get to do them for the second chance campaign on Englewood that we're gonna do is and I can also show off. Where are the trading cards? Here we are. We are going to have at Sleeveless here a trading card style. That for every book that we do, we want to give away to give people trading cards. And they'll always be different things. I think it'll be I think the way that we're going to do it is, at least the way I want to do it, is like if you sign up for the mailing list, that's how you get trading cards. So I have a couple to show off. This is the one for the next Englewood campaign. This is the Saint. And of course they have backs to them as well. Let me grab that. So what they'll do is they'll have all of the other stuff, bio, so on and so forth, and threat level as well. So this is what the front and back of it will do. If you look really closely, there is actually an image in the back as well that you can see. So they're based a lot on like the Marvel Limited series from back in the day, but a little different. So, and then this is the one for Dietrich. So, and each book will have a different color frame. So for Three Knights, it's red. For Englewood, it's blue. Yeah, for whenever we get around to doing Project Lazarus, that will be a different color, so on and so forth. I might actually do a gradient with Project Lazarus that's red, white, and blue, because it's a very patriotic book. So yeah. I'm excited. Like, seriously. Even when nonsense happens, there are more things that happen to make me excited about the future. And the fact that my friends are always with me makes me excited for the future, you know? And that, I think, is a priceless thing, in all honesty. I think I've chosen good friends. Oh, goodness. Ugh. I feel like my neck is, like, sitting on fucking, like, a thing of, what are they called? I'm having nominal aphasia right now. Bubble wrap. I feel like that's what it is. It's like padded with bubble wrap. It's just like, ugh. Whoa, people are throwing money at me again. Chaos Sonic throws in a buck and says, if you could make a crossover with Static Shock or Spider-Man, would you jump at the chance? Spider-Man, definitely. Static Shock, I don't know. I was never that big on Static Shock. But yeah, like Spider-Man, dude, that's my favorite superhero. Like in a heartbeat would I yeah. Like in a heartbeat I would definitely use Spider-Man. On the conditions that I write it. I ain't letting fucking like Nick Spencer touch my fucking character. Nick Spencer would find a way to turn my black character into a white supremacist. That fucking prick. Fuck that guy. Like, do I have the fucking button on this one? I don't. Fuck him anyway. We should just. Anywho. In the words of Scott Steiner, I'm hungry. Checking what Little Caesars has to offer. So this is the dilemma I'm in when it comes to ordering food today. So if I go through DoorDash directly, right? They're doing a thing where I get a free pizza on top of whatever I order. And I'm fucking starving, so I could probably eat 2. But yeah. Where's the stuffed crust? That's what I want. I want a fucking stuffed crust, goddammit. What, they don't have stuffed crust available on the fucking DoorDash. Fuck you, Meng. Nah. So anyway, not taking off yet, but yeah, I'm gonna order this and then I'm gonna eat and then sleep because good lord, headaches are bullshit. So do it. I'm doing it. Get off me, woman. Guys, Piper's bullying me. Make her stop. Everybody bullies Piper, so I guess she has to get one in on me. Fuck it. I'm just gonna get a. Don't tell Donald. Don't tell Donald to delay this. I'm getting a Hawaiian. I'm gonna get me a Hawaiian. Yep, I'm gonna get me a Hawaiian, but I'm not gonna get the white drugs. Definitely not gonna do that. Nope, definitely not gonna do that. I'm mean. I'm a big meanie head. Didn't you guys know that? goodness. All right. So I'm going to order this food. And then I'm going to conk out for a year. But I think that I just need to, like, this is the thing about whenever I get headaches. It's like the next day I could eat the fucking earth. So yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this order. I'm gonna take off for today, guys. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Real quick before I go, Chaos Sonic threw in a buck and said, Static Shock I only ask because I grew up with Static Shock from Dwayne McDuffie. It'd be interesting since the show is part of the DACU's version of Spider-Man. That's true. That's very true. When do I plan on doing other folks writing Englewood stuff? Probably not for a while. I'm pretty controlling about the character right now, so I'm not really sure if I want anybody else to touch him. There's really only like one writer, I think, at this point, if I was ever approached by him, that I would let write him, and I think that's Christopher Priest. So, Micah's Galactus confirmed. Something like that, yeah. Alright, guys. My food is ordered. I've got a headache. I'm gonna... Oh, I forgot to answer from the beginning of the fucking stream the music that I was playing. It was from Iron-Blooded Orphans. And I'm going to actually watch a couple episodes of that before I conk out. So, appreciate all you guys. Again, if you want to back any of the projects I talked about today, they are already linked in the description. And other than that, that's really all I got. So until next time, my name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. See you then.